or you can raise your hand. And if not, you can always email me afterwards. If something pops up and you want to discuss something, I'm always free to discuss all things teams. So last week, for those who may have not seen it, we did go over a few things. Last week, we went over advanced communications, some meeting settings, and email forwarding within Teams. And today, like I discussed, it's going to be all about channels. So it's going to be about creating channels, making sure that everything is kind of organized by specific topics or projects, disciplines, anything that is pertinent to your team. So within those channels, you can share files, you can create tabs, and all of that. We're going to kind of go over all of those steps. And channels are where you can develop all those different kinds of conversations and where work is actually done. So each channel, each team can have a specific channel, whether it's public or private, and we'll go over each type of channel in regards to that. And then also, to bring more value to your channel and to your team, we're going to kind of go over different tabs that you can add, or how to connect connectors, or bots that can increase the value for your members, and how you can also keep track of the analytics between each channel. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my team so we can just go step by step over everything. So within Teams, as you can see, we have specific channels. So these are all the channels that I'm involved in. These are all So these are all the channels that I'm involved in, and then these are the channels that I mostly work in, so I can pin them. To begin, you will want to think about what type of team do you want to create, what type of channel, who all do you want to be involved, who do you want to be a member, who do you want to be an owner of the channel to kind of monitor. And so those are all kinds of things that you want to think about before you create your channel. To create a team, you can do at the bottom, join or create team. You're going to create your team and you can build from scratch, or you can build from an existing group. So if you already have a team created and the same team members or multiple teams that you have are going to be combined into one channel, you can add them all through here. I'm going to build from scratch just so you can kind of see how the beginning stages start. What kind of team will this be? So you, again, privacy settings. You can make it private or you can make it public. Private is going to be where only the people within that team are going to have access to this channel. If you want anybody through the company or any guests that you want that are possibly outside the company, maybe a vendor or a client that you guys use Teams with, you can make it public. So anyone can contribute to this channel, anyone can comment, make new conversations. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this private. And then I'm going to give my team a name. So I'm just going to say test. And then I can always put in a description. If at a later time you want to change any of these details, I'll kind of show you how you can go about doing that after we've created your channel and team. So description, just review. Description can be anything that the channel, maybe project is going to happen, or any type of discipline or work you guys are going to do within the channel. And it kind of gives every team member an outline of what can be discussed or what is going to be discussed. Create. Nice work. I love it. Praising me. Okay, and this is where you can go into adding your team members. So I'm going to add Adrian, who's one of my partners. I'll do David. Let's do Jason, and I'm just going to add. I'm going to add them to this group. I can make them an owner. I can make them a member. So if I make them an owner, they can go in and they can make any different, like create any different types of settings. But I'm going to keep everyone a member so I have access to change anything that I want. I'm going to close, and then I can start from scratch. So each is going to have like a general page. So general page, you can use this with anything. Maybe there's a certain project that's coming up that you want everyone to kind of be involved with. You can add more people, create more channels. And then also over here, it kind of gives you a help guide. I'm going to create a new conversation, so I can type anything that I want to the people that are going to be in this team channel. So hello. And then I can do mentions. So it's going to be the shift at sign. And then I'm going to say, I really want Adrienne to see this conversation more urgently or right away. And so I've done that. So if there's other conversations, maybe this is on one certain project and I want to discuss a different project, I can always create a new conversation. So new conversation is going to create a whole new thread. And within that thread, people can actually reply. So Adrian can end up replying to this thread if he wants, or he can start a new conversation over a different topic that he wants to discuss. And then you can edit within that as well. Over here, you have options of making, saving the message for later, or I can mark it as unread so I can still have a notification. I can copy the link and share it within my email to someone, anything like that. So we'll go over more notifications, or I can turn off notifications. Within this channel, as you can see, you have this top line. So here's posts. So any conversation that we have. You can go to file. So anything that is shared, whether it is an Excel spreadsheet, whether it is a Word document, or a PDF that you want to share with the group, it will always be in here. So if you have had this channel for a year and there's a ton of stuff that has been shared, it's going to go ahead and be stored in this file section. So if Adrienne had sent me a PDF in the conversation, it's always going to be in this file. I really, really like this because even if you don't want to post it to the conversation, you can post it to your file section. So you can add a new, upload anything that is on your computer that you want, maybe your desktop, anything like that. If it is something that you don't particularly have, but your teammate had, you can upload it yourself, and you can save it to your desktop. If people are making changes within those documents, you can always resync. So this button, you will sync it and it will update it for the most current save. You can copy the link. So you can copy this link and send it to anyone else so they can have access to these files. You can add it to your storage. You can open it in SharePoint. So anything within Teams, anything within your channels is going to go ahead and be saved into your SharePoint. So you'll have access within SharePoint to see any of the conversations or any of the files that have been done. Another feature that I would love to show you is the Meet. So you can use Meet to start a video for anyone within the channel. So say you have an urgent matter and you want to talk to your whole team, you can go ahead and Meet now, and it's going to send everyone a notification on their computer or their mobile device if they have it downloaded there, and you can start a meeting right away. If it's a meeting that you want to do later, you can always schedule a different meeting. So when you schedule a meeting, it'll actually create a link for you to have, and it'll send to your team in their calendars. So it's also linked to their Outlook, and even within Teams, you have your calendar readily available. If you want to make the screen bigger, you will use the expand tab, make it smaller. You'll use it again, and this is a reload. So if someone added a new one, you can reload it. And then you have the add tab. So the add tab has become one of my favorites. I can add any type of maybe a list or a website, a document, anything I can add to the top of the channel. So it's a quick and easy way to get to it. On one of our channels, I have our blog. I can add the website. When I add it, I just put in the URL and it'll save directly to the top. So if it's something that you want your team to have readily available, they can just toggle over to the website tab. I also enjoy lists or any PowerPoint features, and you can always go in and see if there is an application that you use on a regular basis or your team uses, and you can search, see if it's available, and you can add it to your specific channel. What I really, really like about the tabs is that each channel can have its own specific different channel or applications added to it. So say you wanted PowerPoint for one team, but you wanted Word for another, they use Word more often or anything like that, you could always add it to the top of the page or the channel. Okay, now for specific settings, you can go to any different type of channel. You'll want to do the ... manage team, add a channel within your team, add members, leave the team, edit team, etc. So I can go ahead and manage the team. As you see, I'm here, I'm the owner, and then I have 3 other members. Through here, I can look and I can add members, create them as owners, anything like that. If I have someone who wants to be added to this team, since it's private, I'm going to have all of those requests right here. And then I'm going to have all of my channels for that team readily available down here, so I can toggle back and forth, and I can change notifications, and I can manage that channel. I can even add connectors. You can do any type of settings, so you can create a team picture, member permission. So you can go through here and be like, I want all of the members to be allowed to create anything, update anything, delete anything, restore anything, remove, add, anything like that. Or you can pick and choose which type of setting that you would like. You can also do guest permissions. So anyone who is outside your organization, you can say, I will allow them to delete or I don't. You can do admissions, team codes. So you can do the pending requests. So anyone who wants to request to be in, you can send them the team code. And then you can add memes, anything like that, if you want to have them readily available in your channel. And then you can do tags. So certain team members can get tagged, etc. And then you have analytics. So this is kind of a metrics over everything that's going on within this team. So all of your channels, you can see the activity that has been going on, how many users, how many apps are connected to this channel and this team, how many files is actually taking up in your SharePoint drive. And you can just see all of the progress, engagements, meetings that have been attended, active users, anything like that. And then these are the apps that you can add. So obviously you can go and review more apps. These are the ones that have been more popular. You can praise your teammates. You can add that app in there in case someone does something so extraordinary that you want to be able to praise them and validate them and make them feel empowered. You can use the planner, anything like that, and you can add those apps in. I'm going to go back to general. So we just discussed new conversations. We've discussed settings that you can do. We've talked about privacy, files. Let's go to notifications. So for notifications, as you can tell that I am in a lot of different teams. And so within those teams, they're going to have separate channels. One channel I think has, or one team has 11 channels. And so I get to pick and choose what type of activity or notifications that I'm going to receive. So I can go and say, you know, for everyone, I want to see in my activity log any post replies or mentions. I can also customize where it kind of shows you any type of how you want your notification to arrive to you. So only show it in my feed or send me a banner, anything like that. All new posts, only show in feed, banner. So I really like the notifications. Sometimes if it's something important, I'll make sure that it does like a banner and a notification. Or if it's a channel that's not as urgent, I'll just have it to where I can either have the notifications off, or so I can just look at it in my leisure, or I can specify that I want it just to be my notifications but not notify me with a banner. Also pinning. So as you can see, I have all of my teams here, and then within my teams, I have my channels, and I've pinned certain channels to the top of my page. So say you have a lot of teams or a lot of channels, and there's a specific one that you are currently always in. So I'm always in vendors or sales orders, or connecting with our service engineers. And so I want to make sure that those channels are at the top of my list so I can keep an eye on them always. So I'm always going in there and seeing what is new, what is updated, if someone has left a message, what is it in regards to. And so I like to pin all of my most active channels, so I'm more aware of what's going on. And if at any point maybe I move to a different position, or maybe they don't need me in that channel anymore, I can unpin it, and it'll go away. But I love this channel, so I'm gonna have to pin it again. There are other, let's see, I'm gonna repin and I'll bring it back up. And then I can also organize where I want it to go. So I want general, maybe I want sales first, so I'm going to move it up. You can always customize how your pins are going to look to you, and how you work. Let's see. Connectors is something that I really want to touch base on. So a lot of people have CRMs, or they use like Salesforce, or any type of, let's see, analytics. You have Google Analytics, your CRM, Salesforce, customer service, developer tools, any type of, let's see, HR, marketing. These are really good applications to add on to your channel if you already have like a subscription with them, where you can add and manage through there. And of course, they'll integrate with each other and they'll talk back and forth. So they'll always stay updated with one another. And I really like this, just so everything is in one place. I like having everything in one place and not having to go search or find. And so those are connectors that you can connect. If there is one, maybe there's one that isn't showing right here, you can always search in all of the connectors, and it'll populate for you. Let's see, test. Okay. So we went over connectors, get linked to channels. So I do like to send links to team members that aren't necessarily in the group, but they're wanting to kind of view the information that's within the group for something that they need. You can always get a link to the channel, send it to them, and it'll take it to them so they can review. And again, you can also email, get an email address, and it'll populate within your channel. I don't know if anyone has any questions this far. I know that's a lot to take in over channels. There's a lot of different features that each channel and each team has. So there's a lot to offer within channels and customizing and anything like that. I didn't know if anyone had any comments or suggestions, or maybe questions of something that has happened while using channels or teams that you guys want to discuss.
Hey, Caitlin, I had a comment for you.
Yes, sir.
When putting together teams and channels, it's a good idea to come up with a naming scheme, how you want to name things. Otherwise, your teams and channels can get somewhat unwieldy and can be difficult to organize. So, so put some thought into the front end before you start just adding teams and channels would be a good idea.
Definitely. Each team, each channel, before you begin, it would be awesome to have like a format of what you want each one to look like, whether it's a specific project, or it's a specific event, anything like that, that is detailed and specific to that one team or department, definitely. I think that's a great idea. Okay. If we're all good, I think that will conclude today's training. I know next week, or not next week, it'll be 2 weeks from now. I'm very, very excited. I am going to go over lists. So we'll discuss lists. I'm a big list person. I have lists for my lists. So I'm really pumped about discussing the certain applications that you can add to your certain channels or certain chats, where you can keep a list over everything, inventory, maybe certain processes that your team can go through. So next time, definitely be prepared to discuss lists. Okay, well, I really appreciate everyone joining me today. I'm very, very excited to have had you. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to send my information to the chat just in case you guys don't already have it. But if everyone is good, I'll go ahead and give 5 minutes back in your day to maybe take a breather or walk outside. So